Well, here's a surprise. The middle of the island, going about more mundane business, and I came across this little yellow thing. Obviously of Fiat origin, but something very different. You'd expect to find a motor in here, but this is the future. This is the future. Electric Fiat. Fiat 500. A classic car. And this is the man who's creating it. From your own design?
Yeah, this is all our own design. And even this is our own design, even though it's the Abarth badge.
Right.
It's now an E-Bath.
Oh, right.
So that's been made on our 3D printer.
Right. Oh, right. I saw the 3D printer in the workshop. Now, there's a lot of stuff there. What is that?
See this?
Yeah. Well,
they want £200 for a set of those. Right? It's only 5. So we 3D printed them for about tuppence.
Brilliant.
So, yeah.
I mean, you're a man of a certain age, not quite as old as me, but how come you're into new things? I mean, this is cutting edge technology you got here.
Yeah, well, you've got to stay young, haven't you?
It's brilliant. And I shall just give you, just so the public can flock here and have their Rolls Royces all converted to electric, and you'll do them all for them.
Yep.
Hudson's motor, Hudson Motor Co.
These are 3D printed, rubberized. So what happens, right, normally there'd be air being pulled in with a big fan cooling the engine because it was air cooled.
Right.
So now we've blocked off this one.
Right.
Right. So now the only way in is through this aperture here.
Right.
2 radiators, one to cool the batteries and one to cool the inverter.
Is there a diff underneath all that?
So that's attached to the gearbox.
Right, okay. So it's still got the same gearbox?
Yeah, we've made that flange, that plate.
Right.
These are Land Rover mounts.
Right.
We fabricated this steel plate. 65 hours in fabricating these boxes.
Really?
But those boxes are integral to the car. The car is very, very strong.
So that gives it strength. That's all part of the structure
unbelievable,
now?
yeah.
Right.
The batteries, 6 batteries, $770 each.
Bloody hell.
There's 6 more in the front.
Well, let's have a look. I mean, the car itself is the same. There's nothing much different. The car, the chassis, whatever it's got for a chassis.
We've removed the clutch pedal.
Ah, that's a point. Yeah, what do you do about it?
We've increased the brakes. The brakes have got disc brakes, so that's an improvement.
Right.
This is a tandem master cylinder, so it's going to have a tandem brake system on it. It needs to be modern and safe. Right. So this again, all the clips holding this have been 3D printed.
Right.
So 3D printer comes.
So what? These batteries are obviously heavy. What's the
12 kilograms.
12 kilos. So what's the total? The total effect is a heavier car, or
much heavier car.
Much heavier car.
Yeah, but it's been weighed by the prerequisite to do any of these vehicles. It's the first thing you do is weigh it. So the traffic office have weighed this car. Right. So they're going to come up when it's finished and reweigh it, and then we'll talk about the weight increase and whether it needs a suspension upgrade. We think it does. As you can see, it sits quite low. Right. So we're going to strengthen the suspension on this. So it'll have stronger rear springs and a stronger front spring. Do you know what the performance is going to be like, or what do you anticipate? We anticipate it's going to be a very, very nice electric car. Is it? So probably have a range of about, well, our criteria is minimum 75 miles range. Right. Minimum 60 mile an hour top speed. And to go like the wind from 0 to 40. Really? And we think this car and this setup will easily match all of that criteria. Probably get 150 miles range on this car. Not a lot of places to put your golf clubs? No. But you'll have your back seat. Your back seat? Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, and these are another prerequisite for the traffic office is that these were useless anyhow, because all the heat came from the rear to do the front windscreen, but it was lost on the way through. But with an electric car, we're saying to the traffic office, the prerequisite is to have heat to demist the screen. And these are our demisters. These have been printed on our 3D printer, designed. So that's the design. So these now, as you can see on that one, they just clip in to the windscreen vents, because they're not terribly efficient, but because they're so close to the windscreen, they will do the job. They will put warm air onto this windscreen. Right. So, which is a vast improvement on the original, because they never demisted. You'd have a sponge to demist.
Well, my old car used to work off the carburetor intake, so that was an air vacuum.
Right.
Okay, and that was when it used to go up hills, it would stop.
Yeah. So this is a modern addition. This is a cutout switch. So if it has an accident,
Right.
that switch will throw, and it will turn the ignition off.
Right.
And then this is for the fire service.
Well, when you say it's ignition, it's just on-off switch, really.
Yes.
Is it? It's just
Yeah.
on-off.
So it means that if someone comes up
Right.
and they press the throttle, it won't go.
Right.
And this here is a battery disconnect.
Right.
So we proposed to our government that they change the J numbers for electric cars.
Well, I gather the world champion Jeep Grand Prix, he's talking about electric car events now. He's talking about electric car
Yeah,
events.
well, what I'm saying is that they've got the government, our government has got to give me JE1.
Right. Oh, right.
Because my idea is that if this vehicle is involved in an accident, the fire service come along and they see it as a 1970s
Right.
Fiat.
And they start spraying it with water.
So they go to it and they potentially
Right.
could get damaged because it's 120 volts. So anything over 42 volts will kill you potentially.
Right.
So if it's a JE number,
Right.
they'll know it's
That's
an
a bloody
electric
good
car.
idea, that.
Right. So they'll have all the information on a database, right? So they'll know where the battery disconnects are. So you disconnect that one, there'll be one in the rear, and then it's safe. The only thing that's powered up are the batteries within the batteries, but the car is safe.
Approximately, as far as you know, to charge, what it's going to cost to charge, put electric charge in it.
Oh, 5p, I don't know.
Because I know the lecture I went to several years ago, the guy here, he drove from Wiltshire down to wherever he was going, Switzerland, I think, and every hotel he stayed at, they said, oh, you can charge for nothing. So it cost him nothing in fuel.
Yeah. So the other reason why it should be a JE number, you'll be able to sell JE numbers.
Of course you will.
So the Treasury will make lots and
They'll
lots
make
of
a
money.
bloody fortune, won't
So
they?
it's going to be safe for the fire service and the ambulance service, and they'll make more money on new JE numbers than ever before.
And they'll thank
All-
you personally.
they've only just
and
got-
they'll send you a cheque once a year.
No, all I just want is JE1.
Amazing, isn't it? This is the future. Clever little idea. Perfect little car for Jersey, of course, size-wise and all the rest of it. And if it's electric, as long as the power station keeps pumping out electricity, the one in France, I mean, we should be all right. I don't know, I must ask him whether we can put a propeller on the car.